Through Black history, one of the folks that stuck out a lot were, if you didn't know, 1 in 4 cowboys were black. Did you guys know that? Yeah. Some did, some didn't. Despite the stories told in popular books and movies, 1 in 4 cowboys were black. In fact, it's believed that the real Lone Ranger was inspired by an African-American man named Bass Reeves. Reeves had been born a slave but escaped west during the Civil War, where he lived in what was known as Indian Territory. He eventually became a deputy U.S. Marshal, was a master of disguise, an expert in marksman, had a Native American companion, and rode a silver horse. But yet his story's not unique. Unsung heroes, right? He worked hard to be where he was at, but didn't get the credit like the Lone Ranger. But our credits are up above. Our reward is further beyond what we have here in this realm, right? So as I read these stories and I read both past and present and what's to come, it always amazes me of God's work, how He's working day in and day out. In the 19th century, the Wild Wild West drew enslaved blacks with the hope of freedom and wages. When the Civil War ended, freedom came west with the hope of freedmen came west with the hope of a better life, where the demand for skilled labor was high, and African Americans made up at least a quarter of the legendary cowboys who lived dangerous lives facing wet laws while they slept under the stars driving cattle herds to market. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty hard job. Compared to what we do today, my goodness. These cowboys went through trials and tribulation. Amongst that, while there was little formal segregation in front, loyalty did develop between the cowboys and the drive, but the black cowboys were typically responsible for breaking the horses and being the first ones to cross flooded streams. The first one. Not the last, not in the middle. But like today, it rained. Kansas River is probably higher than it should be right now. And someone says, hey, can you go out there and cross that stream? Make sure it's going to be all right for the cows to cross. Because we don't think you're as important as our cows, because we got to make this money. But we don't send you out first. Black cowboys were typically responsible for breaking the horses for crossing flooded streams. Cowboy originated as a derogatory term used to describe black cow hands. Because as we know, in the South, a lot of times, African Americans were considered boys, cowboys. And now look at these stories and histories we relate to. It says, and let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Our time is coming. If we continue to believe. John 3:16, God so loved the world that He... I would like to thank Pastor Williams and my wife in your life as I do in my bad. Because the bad times only make you better for the next good time. Your experiences that you do in life, you're never above learning. Because every step of the way, you're either teaching someone else, someone that you've learned to help further themselves. And not put them down. So as we change the course of time, could change the future. Because as of recent, I would have never known that George Floyd And I would have never, ever expected for that. But because of one man and the change that has happened, reform is happening across the world, just like Martin Luther King. He had one dream and hope for it. In 2 years. Where do you see yourself in 4 years? What are your goals, i.e. hopes and dreams? Do you want to stay in the military? You know what I'm saying? You can bring the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Well, out of any situation, any possibilities when you're scared like on the boat, Jesus says, peace be still. Like you could have done this. Matter of fact, he gave it to Peter, as you have it. In Acts 3, 1 through 10, Peter heals a lame beggar. Help me to say the right words. As I close this, Pastor Williams, I thank you.
I thank you, sir.
Thank my wife and my mother for coming. I thank the True Holiness for inviting us and having us. We love you. I hope you go forward and do great things.
Being a soldier in 1977, and I did not realize how much the military had impacted my life until I got out. Can we say amen?
Amen.
After I got out, I would still get up early in the morning. Now, dress right dress, and it out, and I don't want to get it out.